This program is brought to you by the local bottle shop, where you always get more than you'd expect.
Big Wednesday night audience. And I just want to go on. Thank you. It's a total groupie situation here. I can only repeat my total disgust and outrage about the disgraceful incident that broke out on national television last night on this show. Frankly, it was gross, vulgar, undignified, and totally beneath the standards of this show. But for those of you who did miss it, this is what happened. Excuse me for 1 second. We're trying to just excuse me. Just butt out of it, Peter. I'm sorry. Look, I'm headed up in here. Move. We're part of the show. Everyone must have got it. Fun. Kerry Packer apparently was a bit upset about the incident on the Ray Martin show, because Kerry said if no one dies, it's not really a fight. plus he told Don King that Normie was supposed to win, so there you have it. We were going to have Ron Casey and Normie Rowe on the show tonight, but we had to call it off, unfortunately, because Ron didn't make the weight. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support on that. And what about Kerry Packer's, if I can just change the subject, what about, shut up Paul, what about Kerry Packer's bid for Fairfax? Did you see that? Kerry Packer's bid for... I'll take that as a yes. Bid for Fairfax. Frankly, if he is successful, the only paper in Australia Kerry won't own will be Sorbent. I tell you, someone who was in the audience tonight, we found a gentleman from a Chinese restaurant, a chef, Andrew, the other night. Someone faxed in and said Andy from the Chinese restaurant Fortuna Village was in the audience. Fortuna Village. Where is Andrew? He is in seat number 43, which of course is sweet and sour. What happened was we faxed in and Paul. Faxed him, and poor old Andrew, we sent him out to someone's house to cook up what they had in the fridge, and accordingly he missed the whole show, and we thought we'd do the right thing and bring him into the audience so he could see a show tonight. For those of you who missed what happened, this is what happened. We've got a bit of VTR here, tape. You're a chef, Andrew?
Yep.
What sort of chef are you?
Chinese food.
You could send Andrew out to someone's house and get him to make some food. Would you do this for us, Andrew?
No.
In we go. This is somebody's house. Any minute now they'll be answering, and...
Hello, how are you? My name's Andrew Fu. How are you? Hi, Andrew. I've got a big problem. Paul. Steve
Hi.
sent me here to cook a supper for you. Oh, Steve.
Any old thing. No, get the knife. Look, just get in, Andrew, get into the freezer. We want food from the freezer. Just get in there. Paul's going to break into his own freezer. You got into the freezer all right? There you have it. So we thought we'd do the right thing by Andrew and let him see the show tonight, except that I'm feeling a bit peckish and I wouldn't mind some Chinese. Who'd like some Chinese? Andrew, we've got a fridge in the green room and there's probably some food in there. Could we prevail upon it? Come on, Andrew. Andrew's going to cook up some food for us. One guy. Can we have some music, Paul? And there's Andrew going into the green room. Yep, that's the camera behind you, Andrew. And in he goes, straight into the green room, and over to the fridge, Andrew. And
tell me it's empty again?
Yeah, just anything you can find in there, Andrew. Any recipe that involves... yeah, no, that's all right. That's a little thing Paul uses.
What can I do?
Anything you can find in there, Andrew, at all, just whip something up. And
that's enough. Not enough.
Oh, no, we'll get some more for you then. Preferably a big grog recipe.
Can you send somebody to 7-Eleven?
Yeah, we'll send out anything you want one of our people will get. No problems at all. Yeah, no problems at all. We have a huge show. Guest, leave the camera in there. Guest Channel 7's female sports reporter, Kim Sporton, joins me tonight. Where are you? Where's Kim? Hi, Kim. A former U.S. senator has written a book called Future Sex, and who also happens to believe that extraterrestrial beings are living on Earth and have a massive sex life. Steve Davis is here.
Hello, Steve.
One of the stars of E Street, recently voted the soap star of the year. Bruce Summerton is here.
Hey. How are ya? Hi, Steve.
And Jennifer's gone berserk. And musically, we're going to be entertained by Chris McDonty. And we have so many viewer fans, you're going to be, frankly, absolutely devastated. But right now, it's time for the latest news. The queen of the Newsbeat, Ms. Jennifer Kite. How are you, Jen?
I'm good. How are you, Steve?
Foot as a fiddle. What have you been up to today?
I've actually been organising what should be a very interesting lunch tomorrow with your wife and Paul's wife.
Interesting.
Should be interesting. I hope, anyway.
Oh, it'll be a real killer, that one. Sorry I can't be there.
So have you had an interesting day?
Yeah, I had a good day.
What did you do?
Had lunch with my wife. It was good. It was good.
Great.
Have you got some...
Yes, some news?
News, that's the word.
Okay. Hello, everyone. The Keating Hawke leadership row is set to flare again with an admission today from the former Treasurer that he still wants the top job.
On daytime TV, Paul Keating made it clear he's still keen to be Prime Minister.
I'd like to be at some point, God knows when. I mean, there may be an opportunity in the next Parliament. I don't know when Bob's going to bring the gloves up.
But the would-be Prime Minister put himself at odds with the government, calling for reductions in the current migrant intake. And how does a treasurer turned backbencher fill in his days? He goes shopping at a Sydney pawnbroker.
I'm doing a few normal things there. Just purchase. I just bought a little piece of camera.
According to the pawn shop owner, Mr. Keating's a regular, but not for that other collection.
I don't have a big flex box, does he?
Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev flew into London tonight to meet the leaders of the 7 richest nations on Earth, and he arrived with his hand out. There were plenty of people waiting to shake the Gorbachev hand, but that's all. They won't be filling it with the billions in hard cash he's looking for to kickstart the Soviet economy, but it's not all bad.
There's no chance that he will come here and leave empty-handed.
But no cash, not while most nations are doubtful that Mr. Gorbachev's economic reforms will work. Instead, he'll go home with a fistful of introductions to European banks and free advice about asking a bank manager for a loan. Meanwhile, the group of 7 will continue meeting if one of them can remember when. It's not President Bush, he's always on time. John Major's already there to welcome Germany's Kohl, Italy's Andreotti, Canada's Mulrooney, Japan's Kai-Fu. Let's see, that's 6, but this is the group of 7. Where's the President of France? Oh, there he is, coming late again. So far, President Mitterrand's been late to every meeting, and the group of 6 is fuming. Tennis star Martina Navratilova is in court today instead of on court. The reason is palimony. So what does Martina Navratilova think?
It's pretty hot.
That's what the media think too. Martina was giving a deposition in a lawsuit filed by her former companion Judy Nelson, who claims she has breached a non-marital cohabitation agreement. In New Orleans, it's the battle of the television evangelists. Preacher number 1, Marvin Gorman, is suing his rival Jimmy Swaggart, claiming Swaggart destroyed his New Orleans-based television ministry in 1986 by spreading rumours that Gorman had hundreds of adulterous affairs. It was Gorman, we remember, who helped topple Swaggart's ministry by publicising photographs of Swaggart with a prostitute. Insurance companies say that unscrupulous builders and tradesmen have claimed up to $50 million in bogus claims after the Newcastle earthquake. 5 building company directors and a host of tradesmen, even insurance assessors, will be charged by a special police task force called Operation Choke. Typical of the rip-offs in the wake of the earthquake, 2 men did a job in 1 hour using half a bag of cement. The bill, $6,000. Journalists at the Sydney Morning Herald have opposed the bid for the Fairfax newspaper empire by Kerry Packer and Canadian publisher Conrad Black.
We believe that the Packer Black Consortium will be a Packer-controlled group.
Not so, says Mr. Black, who is due to meet the Prime Minister tomorrow to ease government concerns. In the Packer-owned Bulletin magazine, Mr. Black says Mr. Packer will be a minority shareholder who won't control anything. In a Brisbane court today, he admitted it. He was drunk, he was wearing a tutu, and he was on roller skates. Honestly, officer, I was only wearing the costume for the annual Caxton Hotel Marbles Championships. This was the defence today of 19-year-old Scott Wharton, charged with driving a vehicle under the influence. No dispute about the influence part. Even Wharton's lawyer described it as .22 in a tutu. It was the other part of the charge which came unstuck. Scott got off. His roller skates were determined not to be a vehicle, and the police had to pay costs. And Steve, that's our news tonight.
Thank you very much, Janice. Now time for viewer faxes, please. Dear Steve, there will be a gentleman in the audience this evening called Peter Harper. Out of interest, you might care to ask him how he went with his dog at the chiropractor today. His dog at the chiropractor. Did you take your dog to the chiropractor? Peter, why would you take your dog to the chiropractor?
He had a crook back.
Yeah, that would be the reason. And what happened? Did he put him on the table and the whole bit?
No, put him on the floor.
So is he all fixed up? Is the dog 100%?
Well, yes, he said he was all right. Yeah.
And what sort of dog is he?
An English setter?
English setter. How did he get a crook back? Or do you want to go into that, Peter? Or?
I'd rather not.
Okay, let's see. Thanks, Peter. Dear Steve, if Jack, the world's oldest cameraman, will sing a chorus of Tulips from Amsterdam, we will accompany him. We are here tonight. Adrian Coates and Ramon Hall. Ramon Hall. Are they here tonight? Anybody? I'm sorry, but you missed the Tulip from Amsterdam. Do you know it anyway, Jack? Tulips from Amsterdam?
Melody, but not the words.
Do you know any Dutch songs at all? Would you like to sing one, Jack? Just unaccompanied if you'd like, a cappella.
Do you know Bless Them All, Paul? Well, I'll sing them in Dutch. All right. 1,
We'll play it in German.
3,
But
4. Cheerio, cheerio. En Holland, daar zingen ze zo. Weg met de zorgen en weg met verdriet. En we komen er wel ook al zijn.
the world's oldest cameraman, and that melody was big in the Bronze Age. Here, Steve, the joke you did about the joke you did about Kerry Packer's bid for Fairfax. If he's successful, the only paper in Australia he won't own will be Sorbent, which I thought was quite funny, was not funny and was in poor taste. That's signed Don of Nidri. Merv, I thought that went all right.
Don't seem to recall it, Steve.
I thought that was, it was not bad. Anyone? I thought that was all right. I mean, I'm not suggesting it was the best joke in the world. What we have for occasions like this is a Tonight Live stenographer. Who's on tonight?
We've got Andrew on tonight.
Andrew's on tonight. Come across and meet Andrew. Hi, Andrea, how are you? Andrea takes down everything that's said. That she's just taking it down at the moment. Steve Vizard is one of the best people in the world ever born, and he's a spunk. Just jot that down. Just read that back to me, Andrea, if you wouldn't mind.
Steve Vizard is one of the best people in the world ever born, and he is a skunk.
Thanks. Why are you still typing?
Well, because you're still talking.
Yeah, okay. Why are you still typing now?
Because I was just speaking.
Good. Read the Kerry Packer joke and the Sorbent. Could you just read that back to me? I just want to get basically what had happened there.
Sure.
Top of the show.
What about Kerry Packer's bid for Fairfax? If he is successful, the only paper in Australia he won't own will be Sorbent, to which the audience reacted with uncontrollable laughter, thunderous applause, much stamping of feet and calls of author, and by jingo, that joke was in good taste.
Yes, exactly. So I think the record speaks for itself, and I think you could just strike this fax from the record, and just for the record, Don of Nidri, dickhead, just to put that. We are going to take a break. We'll be back with more for this. This cross over to the green room and see how our Chinese chef Andrew's going, making what he can with the... not going badly. What are you making there, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm making the number 18, Sichuan prawns.
Number 18?
Yeah, it's
Thanks,
called Sichuan prawns. And number 22 is Peking fried noodle.
He's making number 18 and number 32. Sense of humour, Andrew. Very important. Our first guest tonight, not bad actually, our first guest tonight has gained quite a reputation. Can we do this out of the green room? Since joining Channel 7 Sports World last year, she's a keen sportswoman herself, playing golf, hockey, tennis, rock climbing and abseiling. Would you please welcome contestant number 27, Kimmy Spartan.
How are you, Kim?
What are you drinking there, please?
Well, it was optional apparently, and I opted for the white wine.
The white wine?
Yeah.
How many have you had?
Do I have to answer that honestly?
No, you don't have to answer. How? Because you started off in news as a news reporter. How have you found the transition from news to sport?
Well, I started as a police reporter, which was a fairly depressing round to do actually, because a lot of murders, a lot of interviewing relatives who have just lost someone that they love, and they obviously didn't really like the media around. So the fact that I'm now in sport and people actually really enjoy me interviewing them, and they like to see the media and they like the publicity, has made it a lot better.
We've got some footage of you when you were a news journalist interviewing. Do you recall this? A chook farmer, interviewing a chook farmer?
Oh, when I was beaten up.
Was it fun? We've got we actually have that footage. Let's have a look at it.
Without warning, the manager of Checkerboard Chicks ran off and returned wielding an iron bar.
Get a f*** off. What? Get a f*** off.
First in line was cameraman Loz Bowie.
Have a go at me, mate, and I'll fix you up.
He then turned his attention to soundman Nick Haskins.
All right, we are.
One protester came off even worse. He was thrown to the ground, punched and kicked. I was then grabbed by the throat and dragged to the car.
Where?
Oh my goodness.
Did they grab you and what was
They grabbed me, they dragged me, and he was a very horrible man. And we actually took him to court over that.
He was a chook farmer. What was he upset about?
Well, battery hen farming and their cruelty to animals.
And what you were doing an expose on...
We were doing an expose. We were down there.
All right,
ready
expose.
To kick...
I'm sorry. Expose.
I'm a journalist. Ready to kick the old door down and do the expose. But he came out with an iron bar and he was very irate, as you could see there.
You're not a tall person.
No, I'm not a tall person.
How do you find it interviewing people like basketballers?
That is actually the most difficult thing I find in sport. Constantly having to interview these guys who are like 7'2", and you've got, what it's like with two shots, you've got to get the angle right. And I'm like this, so I have to stand on ladders sometimes. The boys make me stand up on steps for my stand-ups. And
I ask you that because we've got you interviewing some basketballers. This will bring back happy memories.
Yeah, but
hey guys, I'm here to do the interview.
How are you? Gee, Kim, what team are you playing for?
I said you ain't so big. You just call that song.
So tell me, what's it like to be that tall?
Everybody confuses me for Jesus Christ. The amount of people that come up to me and say, Jesus Christ, it's incredible. I don't know if it's because I look like him or it's because of my height, but it's actually quite scary.
But when it comes to coordination on surfaces off the basketball court, it's us shorties that have the edge. Where do you drag these things out from?
We've dragged it all out. I know. I'm sorry. What do you do to keep fit? Because you look incredibly fit.
What do I do? Well, at the moment, my latest project is weightlifting.
Eh?
Yeah, I'm building up my biceps.
Could you? Can you bench press a lot?
Yeah.
Reasonably heavy weights.
I can.
Could you bench press, say, Joan Kerner?
Oh, I can't answer that one.
No, but how many times a week would you work out?
Well, at the moment, I'm doing about 3 times a week. In fact, that's where I was tonight, at the Winning Edge. And yeah, work out.
At the where? Sorry, did you want
the
to
Winning Edge.
The Winning Edge, yeah.
And I do weights, and also I'm training for triathlon. And look, you name it, I'm into it. Sport-wise.
We have footage of you when you used to be a go-go dancer.
Why are you saying that with that cheeky grin?
Because have a look at this. Have we got the ESS at all?
Let's not have a look at this.
No, we won't have a look at this.
Let's not.
Rocky, just whack the bloody... We'll sit here all night till we get the ESS up. How far off are we off the ESS, Rocky? Just roughly, in layman's terms. What do you reckon? Looking for it. Can we have some looking for the... Looking for the graphic. So how long does it work out?
For about how long?
Yeah.
Oh, I did it years ago. Paid better than journalism, I tell you.
It appears, I have news from Channel 7, from the Master Control. It appears, and this would be a first, they have lost the... Oh, there it is! They have found the graphic! And that was certainly worth the wait. What was the circumstances of your being a go-go dancer, Kim?
Circumstances? Well, actually, at the time it paid better than cadet journalism. That was the operative reason. But no, I just have a passion for dancing. I love it. Always have.
Do you remember how those steps used to go?
No, not at all. Wouldn't have a clue. Completely gone from
We
my
might see if we can talk Kim into doing a bit of go-go dancing during the break. Stick around. When we come back, Kim Sporton is going to do the go-go. Here's live. Welcome back. I'm with go-go dancer Kim Sporton, who promises that she's going to do it later in the show. Our next guest is a former US senator who has written a book, and that's what it looks like side on. Sorry, wrong camera. Let me get up. That talks about the role sex will have in the future. He also believes that aliens are alive and well and having sex on the planet Earth. Would you please welcome Steve Davis. Steve, you're an ex-US senator.
I am. Steve, before we start, I have a concern.
Yes, please.
I watched the show last night, and when you and Peter Couchman started talking about political issues, the entire audience broke out in fistfights. What's going to happen tonight when you and I start talking about sexual issues?
I don't know, but Kim's getting excited already. We how did an ex-US senator who spent time in Vietnam get involved in sex, in the sex industry?
Most politicians spend a lot of time in sex, don't they? And a lot of time in outer space, too. It's not that far a jump.
This is an interesting thing. You believe that there are people from outer space who... no, this is... I'm not...
No, you're making all this up. You're making all this up. This is...
people from outer space who are on the planet Earth?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No. Although I had a couple dates in college that I'm not quite sure about.
Do you put your case? I mean, as on the best footing. I'm sorry.
First of all, I got involved in this because I wanted to examine the whole issue of monogamy on our planet.
Yep.
And in the process, I wanted to get some other viewpoints, a different perspective about our entire interpersonal relationships, and couldn't find anyone who might break out of the monogamy mold. So I had an opportunity to interview people, not aliens on the Earth, but aliens living in their own cultures on other planets. Does that make any difference?
Right, so you interviewed them not in situ, but actually on their own planet.
Exactly.
And can I ask what...
Sure, you can ask anything.
Can I ask... I may look sceptical. Let me just...
Oh, really?
Sorry. Can I ask by what mechanism the interview was done?
Yes, it's called channeling.
Right.
I have a very good friend, Lisa Royal, who is a channel, and she essentially goes into an altered state of consciousness and acts like a telephone. And so I was able to chat with others about their sexual attitudes and practices.
So let me get this right. What we have here is basically in part at least, a manual comprising the discussions that you had with aliens on another planet as to their sexual practices.
That's fair.
What sexual practices did you find that the aliens had?
Well, for example, I talked to a 900-year-old man, supposedly. Try to control yourself on this, Steve.
Sorry.
I mean, he's still going strong at 900 years. Let's hope that you and I are doing the same thing, right?
What planet was this one on? This was...
It's part of the constellation we know of as Orion.
Orion. The Orion constellation.
Yes. And they have a very interesting system of monogamy. They mate for life. And they can't even conceive of anything else other than having sex with their own mate, which is, of course, different than what we do here.
What would their lifespan be on in that particular, the Orion system?
Well, as I said, this gentleman's about 900, and he's you're not buying any of this, are you?
No, I'm open. I am very open. Kim, how are you going at this?
Totally open-minded.
Totally.
Oh, good. Thank you
Kim
very
is open
much.
to this. If she can find a 900-year-old man who's ready to have sex, she's away. So that we've got the 900-year-old man, and basically he was a monogamist.
Yes, he was, absolutely.
What are their physical attributes?
Essentially, 2 arms, 2 legs, a torso, and the required equipment. And
any physical differences from the people on the planet Earth?
Yes. He has supposedly some dark brown or olive-colored skin, and is a little taller than we are, and has wrinkles.
Have you talked with any other aliens other than in the Orion constellation?
Perhaps you might be more interested in a female from the constellation that we call the Pleiades, or the Seven Sisters. She's about 30 years old, actually looks a lot like Kim, and they have a whole different system. They live in a constant state of excitement, and they don't have any problem having sex with people they meet who aren't their mate.
That's just like Kim, in fact.
As a matter of fact, I brought the phone number if you need it.
Now the channeler obviously just tunes right in there. How does that happen?
Actually, she puts herself in a meditative state, alters her consciousness, and blends with the other consciousness, and is able to allow them to speak through her and allow me to interview them.
Are the aliens interested in having sex with Earthlings?
There are some that are. There's a race called the Zeta Reticuli from the Southern Cross.
The
Zeta
Reticuli. Good. Look, we might just explore that during the ad break if we could, Steve.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a break and explore the data. After this. That is what you just said. Welcome back. I'm with Kim and I'm with Steve, and we're talking about sports, and we're talking about sex with aliens. Hey, I don't know. Our featured artist tonight has spent the last... Sorry, Steve, I spat on you. This past 3.5 years working in New York. Her album released there last year received rave reviews. She's back in Australia. Do we have a copy of the album? No. Tonight she sings the classic Cheek to Cheek. Would you please welcome Chris McNulty?
Heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that